Once upon a time, in the bustling city of Lagos, Nigeria, lived a very rich man named Chief Koko. If you could imagine the most amazing house in the world, that's where Chief Koko lived. His house wasn't just big, it was like a giant palace, with so many rooms that even he sometimes got lost. The outside of his house was painted in bright, cheerful colors, and it was surrounded by a huge, beautiful garden. There were flowers of every color you could possibly think of, and they smelled like the sweetest candy. Little birds with colorful feathers flew around, singing happy songs all day long. Inside, the house was filled with the most incredible things. Shiny, golden statues stood tall in the hallways, and the walls were decorated with paintings that looked like magical doorways to other worlds. The furniture was so soft and plush that it felt like sitting on a cloud. Chief Koko also had a collection of cars that would make any child's eyes pop out. He had a super-fast race car, so sleek and shiny that it looked like it could zoom to the moon. He had a fancy car with a roof that could disappear, perfect for sunny days. And he had many more amazing cars, each one more special than the last. It was like having a real-life car amusement park. Chief Koko loved all his wonderful things, and he loved showing them off to his friends. He was a very important man in Lagos, and people always looked up to him. He was known for his big smiles, his loud laughter, and his generous heart. He often threw big parties at his house, with lots of music, dancing, and delicious food. His wife, Chief Mrs. Sada, was just as special. She was a beautiful woman with a kind smile and a warm heart. She was also very talented and made the most beautiful clothes in all of Lagos. Everyone loved her designs, and she was famous for her colorful and creative creations. Chief Koko and Chief Mrs. Sada seemed like the perfect couple. They were always together, holding hands and laughing. They were like the king and queen of Lagos, and everyone thought they lived a fairy tale life. Their house was always filled with joy and laughter, and they were the envy of everyone who knew them. But, even in the most beautiful palace, sometimes secrets can hide. Chief Koko, despite having everything a man could want, had a wandering eye. He enjoyed the company of many women, and he often made promises he shouldn't have. Chief Koko had many friends, both men and women. He worked with some very smart and talented women, and he also had many lovely neighbors. He enjoyed talking to them, having lunch with them, and sometimes, spending time with them alone. At first, it seemed like harmless fun. But soon, Chief Koko started developing special friendships with some of these women. He would tell them how beautiful and smart they were, and he would often give them extra attention. He began to meet them in secret, away from his big house and away from Chief Mrs. Sada. He would tell his wife that he was working late, but instead, he would be having dinner with one of his special friends. He would go on short trips, saying it was for business, but sometimes, he would be meeting someone in another city. These secret meetings made him feel important and exciting. It was like he was living a double life. He loved his wife, Chief Mrs. Sada, and he still gave her presents and told her he loved her. But he also enjoyed the company of these other women, and he didn't want to give that up. It was like he was trying to have his cake and eat it too. Chief Mrs. Sada, being a kind and trusting person, didn't suspect anything at first. She believed her husband when he said he was working late or traveling for business. She was busy with her own work, creating beautiful clothes, and she trusted that Chief Koko was being honest with her. However, as time went on, she started to notice some small things that made her feel uneasy. Sometimes, Chief Koko would come home with a faint smell of perfume that wasn't hers. Or, he would tell her a story about his day, and then later, he would tell the same story slightly differently. At first, she tried to ignore these little things. She didn't want to believe that her husband, whom she loved so much, could be lying to her. But the feeling of unease grew stronger, like a small seed of doubt that was starting to sprout in her heart. Then, one day, some of her friends started whispering secrets to her. In Lagos, everyone knows everyone, and news travels fast. Some of Chief Mrs. Sada's friends, who moved in the same social circles as she and Chief Koko, began to hear rumors. They heard about Chief Koko's special friendships and his secret meetings. At first, they didn't want to tell Chief Mrs. Sada. They knew how much she loved her husband, and they didn't want to hurt her. But the rumors became more persistent, and they knew she deserved to know the truth. One afternoon, a close friend named Amora came to visit Chief Mrs. Sada. Amora was usually a very cheerful and bubbly person, but today, she seemed quiet and worried. She sat down with Chief Mrs. Sada in her beautiful garden and took a deep breath. "Sada," Amora began, her voice soft, "I have something difficult to tell you. It's about Cocker." Chief Mrs. Sada's heart skipped a beat. She had a feeling that this wasn't going to be good news. She braced herself and listened as Amora carefully told her what she had heard. Amora explained about the late-night dinners, the secret trips, and the whispers about Chief Cocker's closeness with other women. As Amora spoke, Chief Mrs. Sada felt like her world was crumbling around her. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. It was like a bad dream, a nightmare that she couldn't wake up from. She had always trusted Chief Cocker completely, and the thought that he could be betraying her was unbearable. Tears welled up in her eyes, and her hands trembled. She felt a mix of shock, anger, and deep, deep sadness. It was like someone had reached into her chest and squeezed her heart. The happy home she had shared with Chief Cocker suddenly felt cold and empty. She tried to talk to Chief Cocker about the rumors, but he denied everything. He looked her in the eye and said, "My love, those are just silly rumors. People are jealous of our happiness. I would never do anything to hurt you." Chief Mrs. Sada wanted to believe him. She desperately wanted to believe that the man she loved could never lie to her. But the whispers from her friends, combined with the small things she had noticed herself, made it hard to trust him completely. A seed of doubt had been planted, and it began to grow, casting a dark shadow over their once perfect marriage. Chief Mrs. Sada felt lost and alone. She didn't know who to turn to. She couldn't bring herself to talk to her usual friends because she was too embarrassed and ashamed. She didn't want them to know about her problems. Then, she remembered her grandmother, Mama Ifeoma. Mama Ifeoma was a very old and wise woman who lived in a small village outside of Lagos. She was known for her deep understanding of people and the world. People came from far and wide to seek her advice. Chief Mrs. Sada decided to visit her grandmother. She packed a small bag and drove to the village. The drive was long, and she spent the whole time thinking about Chief Cocker and the rumors. By the time she arrived at Mama Ifeoma's house, she was exhausted and heartbroken. Mama Ifeoma lived in a simple but beautiful house surrounded by a lush garden. She greeted Chief Mrs. Sada with a warm hug and a knowing smile. She seemed to sense that her granddaughter was troubled. "My child," she said gently, "come inside and tell me what is on your heart." Chief Mrs. Sada poured out her heart to her grandmother. She told her about Chief Cocker's secrets, the rumors, and her own confusion and sadness. Mama Ifeoma listened patiently, her eyes filled with compassion. She didn't interrupt or judge. She simply listened and held her granddaughter's hand. When Chief Mrs. Sada had finished speaking, Mama Ifeoma was silent for a moment. Then, she said in a calm and soothing voice, "My dear child, sometimes the things we cannot see are the things that hurt us the most. And sometimes, the ways to heal are not the ways we expect." Mama Ifeoma began to tell Chief Mrs. Sada stories about their ancestors, about the traditions of their people, and about the hidden forces that shape our lives. Mama Ifeoma shared stories that had been passed down through generations, stories of love and betrayal, of healing and justice. She spoke of a time when people lived in close harmony with nature and understood the interconnectedness of all things. She explained that there were energies in the world, both good and bad, that could affect people's lives. She said that when these energies were out of balance, it could lead to problems like the one Chief Mrs. Sada was facing. There are ways, Mama Ifeoma said, to restore this balance. Ways that our ancestors used to heal and protect themselves. These ways are not always seen or understood by modern people, but they are still powerful. She talked about the power of wishes, the importance of a pure heart, and the ability of focused intention to influence events. She described how certain herbs, prayers, and rituals could be used to direct energy and bring about change. Mama Ifeoma showed Chief Mrs. Sada some special objects that had been in their family for many years. There were carved wooden figures, smooth stones, and woven cloths, each with a unique energy and purpose. These objects, Mama Ifeoma explained, can help us to connect with the unseen forces and to guide the flow of energy. They are not magic, but they are tools that can help us to heal and to bring harmony back into our lives. She emphasized that these ways should only be used with good intentions, to heal and to restore balance, not to harm or to seek revenge. She told Chief Mrs. Sada that she would teach her how to use these tools and practices, but only if she was willing to learn and to trust in the wisdom of their ancestors. Chief Mrs. Sada listened with a mixture of fascination and skepticism. She had always been a modern woman, a successful businesswoman who relied on logic and reason. But she was also desperate to save her marriage, and she trusted her grandmother's wisdom. She decided to learn these ancient ways and to see if they could help her. Mama Ifeoma began to teach Chief Mrs. Sada the ancient traditions of their people. She explained that these traditions were not about casting spells or performing magic tricks. Instead, they were about connecting with the natural world, focusing one's intentions, and seeking harmony with the unseen forces that govern our lives. She taught Chief Mrs. Sada about the power of herbs. She showed her how to identify different plants and how to use them for healing and protection. She explained that each plant had its own unique energy and that when used properly, it could help to restore balance in the body and mind. She also taught her about the importance of prayer and meditation. She explained that these practices could help to quiet the mind, to focus one's thoughts, and to connect with a higher power. She taught Chief Mrs. Sada ancient prayers that had been passed down through generations, prayers that were meant to heal and to bring peace. Mama Ifeoma emphasized the importance of intention. She explained that whatever one focused their thoughts on, that was what would manifest in their lives. She taught Chief Mrs. Sada how to visualize the outcome she desired, a happy and healthy marriage, filled with love and trust. She also taught her about the special objects she had shown her. She explained how to use them to direct energy and to create a sacred space. She showed Chief Mrs. Sada how to arrange the objects in a specific way, along with other symbolic items like candles, water, and earth. Chief Mrs. Sada learned quickly. She was a dedicated student, and she was determined to do whatever it took to save her marriage. She spent hours each day studying the ancient ways, practicing the rituals, and focusing her intentions. She felt herself changing as she learned, becoming calmer, stronger, and more connected to her inner self. Days turned into weeks, and Chief Mrs. Sada continued her training with Mama Ifeoma. She followed her grandmother's instructions carefully, performing the rituals, saying the prayers, and focusing her intentions. She also spent time in quiet contemplation, reflecting on her marriage and her feelings for Chief Cocker. At first, she didn't see any changes. Chief Cocker continued his usual routine, working late, attending parties, and spending time with his friends. Chief Mrs. Sada began to wonder if anything would ever change. She started to doubt the ancient ways and to question whether she was doing the right thing. Mama Ifeoma reassured her. "Be patient, my child," she said. "The seeds you have planted will take time to grow. Trust in the process, and do not give up hope." Then, one evening, Chief Mrs. Sada noticed a subtle change in Chief Cocker. He came home earlier than usual, looking tired and subdued. He didn't talk much, and he didn't seem interested in going out. He said he wasn't feeling well, but he couldn't explain what was wrong. Over the next few days, Chief Cocker's condition worsened. He became increasingly withdrawn and irritable. He lost his appetite and had trouble sleeping. He stopped going to work and stayed home, pacing restlessly around the house. Chief Mrs. Sada watched him closely, her heart filled with a mixture of concern and a growing sense of anticipation. She remembered Mama Ifeoma's words, "The changes you seek may not come in the way you expect. Be open to the unexpected, and trust in the wisdom of the universe." She wondered if this was the beginning of the change she had been waiting for. She continued her daily rituals, reinforcing her intentions and sending out her wishes for healing and reconciliation. She trusted that the ancient ways were working, even if she couldn't see the result yet. As the days passed, Chief Cocker's mysterious illness took a strange and unexpected turn. He began to experience problems with his body that the doctors couldn't explain. He found himself unable to be intimate with his lady friends. This was a devastating blow to Chief Cocker's pride. He had always prided himself on his charm and his ability to attract women. Now, he felt like he was losing his manhood. He became increasingly anxious and depressed. He went to see many doctors, but none of them could find anything physically wrong with him. They ran tests, gave him medications, and suggested various treatments, but nothing seemed to help. His condition persisted, leaving him feeling confused and helpless. His secret meetings with his lady friends became awkward and humiliating. They started to lose interest in him, and he felt rejected and alone. The excitement and pleasure he had once found in these affairs were now replaced by shame and frustration. Chief Cocker withdrew from his social life, avoiding parties and gatherings. His once vibrant personality faded, replaced by a quiet desperation. His big, beautiful house, once a symbol of his success, now felt like a prison. He began to suspect that his illness was not just a physical problem, but a sign that something was deeply wrong in his life. He started to look at Chief Mrs. Sada in a new way. He noticed her quiet strength, her unwavering patience, and the subtle sadness in her eyes. He wondered if she knew more than she was letting on. He began to question his own actions and the choices he had made. One evening, Chief Cocker could no longer bear the burden of his secret. He felt lost and desperate, and he knew he needed to talk to his wife. He found Chief Mrs. Sada in the garden, tending to her flowers. He approached her hesitantly, his voice trembling. "Sada," he began, "I need to talk to you. Something is happening to me, something I don't understand. I've been to the doctors, but they can't find anything wrong. I can't." He struggled to find the words to explain his condition. He felt ashamed and embarrassed, but he knew he had to be honest with her. He finally managed to tell her about his inability to be with other women. Chief Mrs. Sada listened calmly, her expression unreadable. She had been waiting for this moment, sensing that the changes she had set in motion were beginning to unfold. She had seen his suffering, and while a part of her felt it was deserved, she also felt a flicker of compassion for the man she had once loved so deeply. When he had finished speaking, Chief Mrs. Sada looked at him with a steady gaze and said, "Perhaps our bodies are connected to our hearts and minds. When we do things that are wrong or that hurt others, it can have consequences that we don't understand. There are forces in this world that are greater than we know." Her words were like a key unlocking a door in Chief Cocker's mind. He suddenly understood. He remembered Chief Mrs. Sada's sadness, the changes in their home, and the strange feeling that had been growing between them. He realized that his actions had not been without consequences. He began to weep, not just for his physical ailment, but for the pain he had caused his wife. He confessed his infidelity, his secret meetings, and his lies. He told her how sorry he was and how much he regretted his actions. Chief Mrs. Sada listened to her husband's confession with a heavy heart. She felt a mixture of sadness, anger, and a flicker of hope. She saw the genuine remorse in his eyes, and she knew that he was truly sorry for what he had done. She told Chief Cocker about her visits to Mama Ifeoma, the ancient ways she had learned, and the rituals she had performed. She explained that she believed his condition was a result of his actions and the imbalance they had created in their lives. Chief Cocker was stunned. At first, he found it hard to believe in such things. But as he listened to his wife, he began to understand. He realized that he had been blind to the deeper forces that connected him to his wife and to the world around him. He asked Chief Mrs. Sada to help him. He wanted to heal, not just his body, but also his broken marriage. He wanted to learn how to be a better man and a better husband. With Mama Ifeoma's guidance, Chief Mrs. Sada agreed to help him. They embarked on a journey of healing and reconciliation. This involved open and honest communication, forgiveness, and a renewed commitment to their love. Chief Cocker made amends to the women he had wronged, apologizing for his actions and seeking their forgiveness. He spent time with Chief Mrs. Sada, listening to her pain and trying to understand how deeply he had hurt her. They began to rebuild their trust, slowly and carefully, like mending a broken vase. They also continued to practice the ancient ways, performing rituals of cleansing and renewal. Chief Cocker, once a skeptic, found himself drawn to the peace and harmony these practices brought. He learned to quiet his mind, to focus his intentions, and to appreciate the interconnectedness of all things. Slowly, Chief Cocker's health began to improve. His body started to heal as his heart and soul began to heal as well. He and Chief Mrs. Sade rediscovered their love for each other, a love that was stronger and deeper than before. Their home was once again filled with laughter and joy, but this time, it was a joy built on honesty, trust, and mutual respect. They had weathered a great storm, but they had emerged stronger and more united than ever before. I really hope you found this video entertaining. If you did, please show some love by giving it a like. I'd also love to hear your thoughts and feedback in the comment section. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you're the first to know when I upload new content. I'm always creating new videos, and I wouldn't want you to miss out. Thanks for watching.